All right, everybody. So we covered these first few slides, so don't think you're seeing deja vu. We covered the first few slides yesterday. We had a mixed, number of people who were in that session. I heard a bunch of people who missed that session. So I'm going to do a very quick recap of what we talked about yesterday in terms of the prosperity process and the intent. Then I'm going to cover kind of what's going to be included here in the prosperity membership. And then get to kind of how we're going to structure, how many members we're going to take in, and how it's all going to work here. So again, the goal here, we talked about, by the third generation, somewhere between 70 to 90% of the families have lost their wealth. And that's a big part of the intent here. It's about building family wealth and legacy. This is a journey if you choose to go on this path of being a prosperity member. It's really, for many of you, probably a journey for you, your children, maybe even your grandchildren over time, being a part of this process. We have a purpose here very similar to the overall DLP purpose of dream, live, prosper, passionately building wealth and legacies. And you're going to see, and hopefully you can see this weekend with the group here who are attendees, these core values exemplified through what we're going to do here with the prosperity membership. In the process that we're going to take you through, and there's an actual schedule of this I'm going to show you in a second, of learning, planning, protecting, investing, focusing on income and growth, protecting that income from tax, reviewing your plan, living, and giving. And we're going to have events like this. Our next one is going to be March 18th to the 21st at St. Simon's Island, Georgia. I can't say that event's going to be at a better venue, but I will say it's going to be at a venue I own. Resort I own in St. Simon's Island, which is a pretty cool place. So really excited about that one. And then we'll be in Asheville, North Carolina this summer, or next summer, July 9th to the 12th, I believe, of the date. We're going to do other types of events as well. These are going to be the 3 core events, these big prosperity events 3 times a year. And this is our first one. Ron Cordes this morning talked about Ready, Fire, Aim, which is a great book as well on that topic. But we spent a lot of time getting ready. We've been working on this for the past year. But this was kind of us firing here and testing some things, and there's some things we think went really great this weekend, some things we're going to make even better next time. So this is just the beginning. We're going to do a lot of things in helping you learn in these events and outside of these events. We're going to help you a lot with planning. A lot of this won't mean much to you yet, but there's a very thoughtful planning process going to go into helping you build your family direction, budgeting, your compass, what we call a freedom plan, life designing and goal setting. We did some of that yesterday. Legacy planning. Of course, that includes wills and estates that we've had lots of great discussion on this weekend. Family alignment and family governance. We're going to help you protect your assets in all regards, from insurance to trusts and wills and a lot of other components that will go into asset protection. We've even had some conversations this weekend on things like cybersecurity. I think there's a lot of components of protecting your assets that we'll be going through. Full evaluation of insurance, will and estate planning. We're going to help you investments. We talked a little bit, if you remember yesterday, I know it was about 30 sessions ago, but we kind of started off with one of our first sessions on lifestyle planning, and we got into thinking about our investments from an income standpoint and a growth standpoint. We talked just at a high level about asset allocation. I really can't wait in March to get a few of you as volunteers, hopefully do our first ever portfolio defenses, where you're going to kind of present your portfolio and your thinking to a small group of peers. We're going to help you think again of your investments from an income and a growth standpoint. Who wouldn't want this type of scenario here, where you put $1 million in, and a decade later you have 2.7 million or 4.7 million? That power of compounding interest that one of our speakers spoke about earlier today. Of course, one of the big topics, especially in the change of the election here, everybody's concerned about tax, income tax, estate tax. So we'll be a lot of component of keeping as much of our investments as possible. We talked a little bit about the opportunity of insurance and how that could play into that, sheltering your assets from tax. And then there'll be an ongoing review process. So to this point, we have a great team of investor success managers here at DLP focused on providing you with consistent review and feedback of your investments with DLP. We're going to drastically expand that team. We're doing it right now. Provide you a full holistic review and guidance on your journey and your plan of building wealth and legacy. We're going to introduce some really cool technologies into this process that help make it a lot easier so you don't have to fill out your budgets on scratch paper like we did yesterday, and can actually see it at all times, updated in real time. Here's some of the screenshots of some of these tools that we're going to be helping you implement for your portfolio. And we're going to help you live. And that's been, I think, what's been really interesting this weekend. I think that as I've talked to many of you in the halls and at dinner, and some of the speakers have mentioned it, so much of the conversation, Chris who's been up here a bunch of times, talked about, most of the interest in conversation has been less about really the wealth side, more about, living, right? More about living fully. I like the quote earlier about, living a legacy, not leaving a legacy, right? That's going to be a big part of what this is about as well. And then, of course, giving. And we'll be talking a little bit more about giving this evening over dinner, of just the concept of impact investing, impact philanthropy, and how we can all make a big impact. I can tell from your questions for Ron this morning, a lot of you have a tremendous interest and desire, and I think a lot of us still lack a little direction on how to best, do good and help others make an impact. So the overview, and this is hard to read up on the screen, but this is what's in those binders that you guys all have, we call the value story. It kind of summarizes a lot of the things that were on the slides there previously, the things that are going to be included into this Prosperity membership. And then you'll see as you read through this, what the deliverable tool is, what we think the value of just this piece of Prosperity would be if you went out there to hire somebody to put together the will, or develop your legacy plan, or develop an asset protection plan as an example. The technologies that are going to be included and what they cost. And you'll see there's some time frames of when we expect, and you're going to ultimately choose your journey, when we expect you'll really put these tools in place over 2021 as you do your first year as a Prosperity member. And we'll show you that calendar in a second. Carries forward here into a lot more tools. These are what we call the foundational components of the Prosperity membership, which will frankly only grow with time and refine with time, but a lot of components, a lot of what were on those previous slides of these tools and resources to help you in building your wealth, protecting that wealth, and building, living a legacy. Then on the educational side, obviously these events that we're doing here now, these workshop events, we're going to do some other, we're still figuring out exactly, but we anticipate doing a wide range of different types of events. We may do micro events on specific topics. It's going to largely get driven by members. Where do we want help? Where did we, this weekend was great. We had all these 45-minute, hour-long sessions, but really great if we can have a full day or a half day on this one topic, right? The two Michaels could easily, I'm sure, fulfill a day of talking about, estate planning and trust and be incredibly impactful for all of us. So those are the types of things that we'll be getting feedback from you, and we'll be incorporating in some cool, fun activities to introduce as much fun as we can into this process of living while we build our wealth and legacy. Some of the other tools that we're going to provide to you is access to what we're calling our Prosperity University, a wealth of trainings and resources, the type of content we've experienced this weekend, access to these types of speakers, which I hate to even say this, I probably shouldn't say this because the speakers have been so good this weekend. Would everybody agree with that? Really I want to give my associate Bo credit here, is almost every one of the speakers, the only one I get to take credit for, I think, is myself and Pastor Dave. I think the rest Bo gets credit for. Really did an amazing job. So think about it, we got all these speakers here and we've never done this before. We have no members. We told them what our idea was. When we signed them up, we didn't know how many people were going to sign up. It's COVID, no events are going on. Is the event even going to happen, right? And look at the amazing quality of speakers and experts we were going to bring here. And again, I hate to say it, but it's only going to get better. I think many of these speakers that we'll be bringing back again. We're going to be providing everybody with access to predictive index. We didn't really talk about this weekend with this group. We did with the elite group, but it's really a great tool to use for your entire family and helping you better get to know yourself and your family. And then on the technology side, we're going to provide you with a system called Money Guide Pro. We'll be implementing that immediately, and then add up more likely sometime probably middle of next year. But we're going to get Money Guide Pro implemented right away for everybody, which is an amazing financial planning technology and tool. Of course, goes probably without saying, say you're going to get access to the DLP investments, as most of you are already investors of ours, but you're also going to get first access to opportunities, and such as last night's conversation about the bank. So with the bank, we're only going to have a maximum of 50 shareholders. I've already gotten multiple commitments today, even though I haven't provided any documents yet. But we're going to provide access first to Prosperity members, and that's anytime we have unique opportunities like this, that's going to be our process. These are going to be our closest group of relationships, investors, people who we're on a journey with together, building wealth and legacy. And then trusted advisors, really, really important. So this you saw here this weekend, bringing CLA in and Bodman in, bringing trusted advisors at their quality is going to be a big part of the value here. I think, Bo knows a lot, I know a lot, Rich, Patrick, a lot of the team here at DLP, we have lots of knowledge. We certainly recognize and are humbled that we don't know it all. And there's a lot of experts out there who are going to be very needed to be a part of the plan of helping you build wealth and legacy. We're not going to take the approach, as Bo mentioned yesterday, of some financial advisors at a Morgan Stanley are going to tell you they can handle all of your investments or they can provide you everything. We're going to be honest when we don't know, but we're going to go find those answers and bring those experts to the group as they're needed. So we totaled all this up, and we left a lot of things as just we called them significant, which means we put no dollar value on them. And it was $293,000 was the value of the Prosperity membership if you were to go out there and buy a lot of these pieces incrementally. And before I go to the next slide and I walk you through the exact pricing here, what I want to ask everybody here, so who in this room is a DLP investor? All right, so pretty much all of you, right? So you have invested in DLP, right? You put your trust in DLP and in me. Would you say that's accurate? Because it's right. And would you say that we've delivered upon that value and exceeded your expectations of investing with us? Would you say that's accurate? So you guys all came here this weekend not really knowing that much about what we were going to do, right? Traveling in a COVID environment. To an event which wasn't all that clear what was going to exactly happen. So you put your trust again in us to come here and give this a chance and give maybe your greatest treasure, even more than your money, your time. Giving a weekend, many of you had to change around a lot of other plans, give up other opportunities. We all have many things pressing our times, and you chose to come here. Would you say this weekend has exceeded your expectations? So what I ask you is, as you think about this, and I walk you through, there's going to be a couple slides here, and I'm going to walk you through what the membership investment is going to be. I ask you to give us that same level of trust in us and make the investment in us here in this. But even more so, what's different about this is, you're making investment in yourself. And that's the biggest part of this I want you to accept before coming. It's not about the financial investment, I don't believe. It's really you making a commitment to invest in yourself. And invest in the work that it takes. There's a reason that a lot of us, as again, Bo joked yesterday, he doesn't know where his will is, right? But we haven't put the level of time and energy and effort into estate planning, into legacy planning, into family governance, into thinking about philanthropy. There's a reason for that, because it takes time and energy and effort, and you haven't yet valued that amongst everything else. But when there's a system and a foundation and a structure and accountability from others to help us do these things, and an environment to do it, and resources to help us do it and think through it, it's going to make it much more practical to actually get to the point of doing this and putting these things into action that can be truly life and many lives and generations of an effect that comes from this decision. So, and lastly, I'll say before I cover the final price here is, Bo and I were talking this morning and we're thinking, how do we make sure people, we've never done anything like this. We've never had anybody, none of you have probably done something like this. How do we make sure that everybody's going to get value out of this and that everybody's going to understand that this is not a profit center for DLP. You guys can hopefully, many of you are more than intelligent enough. Some of the math skills that we heard of calculating the number of hours in a day can calculate how much, rough number, how much this event costs to put on, right? Understand the amount of time and cost and energy that we're putting into this just from this very first event. To understand this is not a big profit center for us. We're not looking, this is not going to be a group of hundreds of people we're going to talk about. We're going to keep this a small group where we're going to be investing heavily in. This is meant to be really provide tremendous value to so many of our investors. And we're just trying to find a way to share that investment together as we go on this journey. But what we're going to do is if you come in this path and you sign up with us, you say, hey, I want to do a Prosperity membership, and you go through this and you go through this journey with us, and you say to yourself at some point in 2021 that this was not a tremendous return on your investment, you are not 100% confident that you got the return you were looking for, we did not exceed your expectations, we will return 100% of your investment to you. Okay? We'll give you 100% of it back. Okay? So we'll take the risk out of it for you that this is going to be tremendously valuable for you, and we'll guarantee it. You come and say, this wasn't work, your investments are great, you put on a great dinner, but man, you did not bring value to me in this prosperity membership, not what I wanted, we'll give you 100% of your investment back. So, with that said, here's the summary of all the value of those tools that we summarize, not even including a lot of the items. This is the roadmap of the process. Again, this is a little hard for you to read, but we have a structured process of helping you do the work of putting this in place. A lot of the work we're going to do with events. Again, the next event will be in Q1 in March, and then in July, these big events where we'll do a lot of the work. And we'll send you this full calendar out. And, we're not, you'll be able to sit down then with Larry or Bob or Mike and go through this, and we'll walk you through it then. After this event, this is not right now, after this event, when we fully launch this program in March, the investment's going to be $48,994. Now, this is tax deductible for most, which we can show you how to do that, which means it'd be $30,866 in the tax. What we've decided to do since this is a group of predominantly inner circle members, existing investors, and you're the guinea pigs here of going down this path with us, we're gonna bring in this first group of people at $24,497 for the year. We're gonna take in a maximum of 16 families, and then net of tax, if you put this as a tax deductible expense to your investment, because it should be for most of you, consult with your tax expert, will help you do that. It would be a net cost of $15,433. But if at the end of this, like I said, and you come down this path, you come to our next event, you come in July, at any point in the process you stop wanting to come because you say this wasn't tremendous value, we'll return that $24,497 to you. And then if you refer any members to us, once we get going, we're going to provide $6,000 per member referral. Help us grow the group with like-minded people who you want and we would want to be on this journey with us. This is what I think the return is going to be. So I showed you what the value is. I believe for those who can't come on this path, if you had $3 million in total net worth, I believe through the structuring we're going to help you do here and restructuring your portfolio in certain cases, you're going to see an increase of earnings on average of 4% across your portfolio. We believe through some of the ways to better shelter your investments from income tax, that you'll see at least a 1% gain in your net tax earnings. I believe through helping you, through our trust advisors, help in estate planning, that we're going to be able to save you at least $220,000 in estate tax savings. If you look at what your estimated portfolio growth, again, just looking at a 4% annual increase in the overall return of your portfolio, will be $1.5 million over the next 10 years. And then even more importantly than all those financial numbers is I believe you're going to have a stronger marriage, a stronger family unit, you're going to have a happier, more fulfilled life, and you're going to build some really deep friendships and community here being part of this group.